The Mughal treasure of Alwar, Rajasthan. Legend has it that the Mughal Emperor Jahangir, when he was exiled, took refuge in the Alwar fort, which is about 150 km from Delhi. It's believed that during that time he hid treasures here, most of which is still not salvaged. Sonbandar Caves, Bihar. These cave chambers are hollowed out of a single giant rock. The estimation is that it dates back to at least 3rd or 4th century AD. It's believed that the western chambers used to be the guard room and the doorway that leads to King Bimbisara's treasury. Inscriptions in the Sankhlipi script are found etched on the wall of the western cave, which are clues to open the doorway, but no one has succeeded in decoding the script till date. The Britishers once tried to cannonball their way through the supposed doorway, but without success, leaving just a mark that's still visible. Charminar Tunnel, Hyderabad. The tunnel in question connects Charminar with Golconda and was constructed by, or it's believed so, Sultan Muhammad Quli Qutub Shah. The purpose of the tunnel supposedly was to afford safe passage for the royal personages in the emergencies. A hidden treasure is apparently lying somewhere inside some chambers in the tunnel, which is still to be found. Treasure of Man Singh I, Jaipur. Legend says that Man Singh I, who was the commander of Akbar's army, when he returned from the Afghan conquest of 1580s, didn't share the loot with Akbar. It was believed that the treasure was hidden in the underground tanks of the fort courtyard. The interesting part is, during the emergency, Indira Gandhi ordered a search for the treasure. Though official reports say the search was futile, but people claim that the treasure was moved to the Prime Minister's residence, citing the fact that Delhi-Jaipur road was blocked for public nearly 6 months after the search. Sri Mukambika Temple, Karnataka. The temple, which is situated in the foothills of Kollur, has a symbol of the serpent in it. For a layman, that might only be a symbol and nothing more, but the priest of the temple believe that it represents the presence of treasure beneath the temple that's to be protected by a serpent. Treasure of Nadir Shah. Nadir Shah was a Persian invader who stormed into Delhi in 1939 with an army of 50,000 men and killed 20,000 to 30,000 people. In the process, he looted many prized possessions, so much so that legend has it that his treasure caravan was 150 miles long. That might be an exaggeration, but the story goes on and tells us that an assassin murdered him and took possessions of some of Shah's loot. The assassin, Ahmad Shah by name, succumbed to deadly disease, but before he died, he managed to conceal treasures somewhere in the tunnel of Hindu Kush mountains, quite possibly in Kandahar. To this day, the treasure hasn't been found. Treasure of Mir Osman Ali, Hyderabad. Perhaps it's not unusual for someone who has been called the richest man in the world by Time magazine in 1937 to leave behind some treasure. He was the last Nizam of Hyderabad, but when he inherited the throne in 1911, he also inherited a near-empty treasury thanks to his father's lavish lifestyle. However, over the next 37 years, he amassed a huge amount of wealth, and that's an understatement. His personal wealth was supposedly stored in the underground chambers of King Koti Palace. Sri Padmanabha Swami Temple, Kerala. In June 2001, following a court order, an underground vault was opened in the Sri Padmanabha Swami Temple in Thiruvananthapuram. The amount of wealth, jewelry, crowns, statues, and household articles made of gold that were found inside was immense. But there is another vault that exists, which is supposed to contain wealth that surpasses the estimated $22 billion worth of treasure found in Vault A. Krishna River Treasure, Andhra Pradesh. The Krishna and Guntur district were once part of the Golconda kingdom, and some of the world's finest diamonds were mined from the banks of Krishna River. It's assumed that diamond reserves still remain in the bottom of the river somewhere.